Elliot, Travis here. Good questions. So this area, I guess I'll just start with the why before I dive in where to edit it. The idea here is this can be a map or whatever else customers want to use it for. That's why we have this little pin icon. It's kind of the find us or come in and visit us or something like that. If they don't have a physical location, you can actually shut this entire section off. So let me go here. Actually, it's under contact information and then map and service area. And so you could use this area to add some text about the service area. It sounds like, I think they're a national brand, so you could say, serving entrepreneurs all over the United States, or something like that for this. And then the title here, and then if you uncheck this, it will actually hide the whole thing. This whole piece, all the way down to the end of the image here, even the call to action. So all that will disappear. So to get to it, you just go to contact information, and then map and service area, and that's kind of the idea. That was kind of my vision, is to kind of put a map area in here. Even though we have a map area down here, it seems very redundant, but some people like to have some sort of physical location. It looks like they actually have that here, and so you could put that up within this contact area here, and then upload a screenshot of the map or whatever you'd like there. So that's kind of the idea. Let me know if that answered that question, and then let me go back. I think there was one more question as well, so I'm gonna rewatch the video. All right, perfect. So the next question is how to edit the form. So to do that, you just go into Gravity Forms here. It doesn't say Gravity Forms, but that's the plugin. You can just click on Forms here. And these forms have a little bit of housekeeping on them. You'll notice these little dashes here. What we would like to see is if you could edit these and then just add the name to it. Oops. You want to actually go to settings. And so what I usually do is do something like Santos. Kind of like that, and then hit update form, and that will. The reason I do that is because we actually are tied to these forms as well, just to make sure everything's working. And it gets really confusing when we don't know what site entry is coming from. This has also helped us with our customers in the past, where say they've been getting 10 or more contacts, but we don't see them reply to those customers. We reach out to our customers and say, hey, it looks like you have a few hot leads here, people who are really looking for your business, because a lot of people, they don't check their email or things like that. It sounds crazy, but that happens. So so that's how you edit that piece. To actually edit the forms, though, you can just go in here. I usually just click on the title, and then in here you can see this is kind of our default, and this is the form that will show up. Let me kind of go over. This is the form that will show up at the bottom of the page. So oops. So here, and it will also show up here as well. So that's kind of how that will work. So you can go in, click on this, and say they want conditional logic. I'll just kind of show you how to do that. So what you can do is just grab a checkbox, and I'll just leave these default choices here. But say they really want to know, if somebody, like maybe they want a bio or something. So what you can do is actually click on this, and you go into advanced here, and then you could say enable conditional logic, and then here it will ask you a few questions. And so this says show if if show this field if all of the following match. And so you have a few choices. So you can say any or all. If you say all, everything needs to match. If you say any one of these things, because you can add multiple here, conditional logic pieces. It seems complicated, but it's pretty simple. So all you do is you go here, and we want to use untitled right here, and then we want to say if they select maybe we'll say the second choice, and we will say any. Now we'll just say all. And so now I'm going to update this. I'll kind of show you how this works. So we're going to refresh this. So there we go. We have our checkboxes. So now if I check that second one, you can see that this new field appears magically. But if I check the other ones, nothing will happen. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, how I like to kind of set up the forms. If the client requests a different form here than you have here, that is possible. You can absolutely do that. It's rare that it happens, but I think it's handy to show how to do that. So each of these forms has an ID. So this ID is 2. You can always create a new form. And basically you just go into contact information, contact form info, and then here you're going to see that form here. So this is the contact form piece, and this is everything that will show up here. So you'll even notice the form title and all that. So if we go back here, this is the form title, this is the form text, and then let me show that. So here's the form text that kind of went before it, and then here's the actual form. This is the only piece you don't want to delete. You want to keep this here. And then just to kind of go over what all this means. So title refers to the title within the form. So where do I find that? I think it's under form settings. So you click on this, and here you'll see form title. So we don't want to show that because obviously it's a little businessy, or I don't know how to put it, back end, I guess. Where is totally lost all of a sudden. Okay, here we go. Description is set to false, and we have a description here. So if you do want to put in a description, or the customer, wants it to be very clear what the purpose of the form is, that's a perfect place to put it. You can set that to true, and it will start working. And it's kind of, it's called binary, so it's true or false for those two. And then tab index, what this does is, as long as this is a weird number and none of the other forms match it, it will allow this form to kind of be on its own island, if that makes sense. You probably do it when you fill out forms. You can hit the tab key, and there's a lot of kind of complicated logic going on in the background to figure out what that tab is supposed to tab to, and this kind of helps it. And so what we want to do is kind of make this form its own island. So if you hit tab, say you hit tab here, we want it to go to this next piece. In some cases, if if it matches, it will actually tab to this form here, which would be hidden in here. Oh, that's weird. It's not working all of a sudden. It was just working. So I'm gonna hit update here. I don't think it changed anything. Oh, you know what? I think this disappears when you're actually on the contact page, because this one takes over, because we do have that issue. But the idea is, if you had two forms, say one over here and one over here, that's how you kind of separate the two out, is by using that tab index. Trying to think if there's anything else with Gravity Forms. Overall, it's a pretty easy system to use. I'll delete these. And maybe I'll go through these. Single line text, that's just kind of one of these. Paragraph text. And let me kind of show what this does. It'll default and look a little weird. So you'll see that the form kind of ends here, and that's totally fine. But typically I like the fields reaching out all the way. So what I'll do is click this and go into appearance, and then see where it says field size. You can click this and actually go to large, and that will extend it out all the way. So that's kind of how that piece works. Paragraph text, similar but in a different way. Kind of open this up. So here you can see field size medium. You can actually set this to large, and it'll expand this out, or you could set it to small. Do keep in mind that people do have the option to expand or contract this at will. So it really doesn't matter what you set it to. People will always be able to kind of personalize that to their needs. Drop down is pretty self-explanatory. Just kind of has your typical drop down pieces. There is a way to bulk add, so you can click this and you can just add a bunch of things at will. They even have a bunch of things in here to kind of get things moving. So say somebody wants age, there we go. Say somebody wants gender, there you go. It's really, really powerful. It's kind of cool. So there's all the states. I mean, it's really, really neat. So you can quickly, without having to type every single thing out. That's why we love this plugin. It gives a lot to, I mean, even sizes, which are pretty cool. So that's kind of how that piece works. Radio buttons, those are kind of the you can only select one. You've seen those in the world, so I can't really show that. But yeah, the deal with this is like you can only select one, and then say you click the third option, then it would uncheck this and then check that, because there's only one that can be active at a time. And I think I'll actually post this video to the copywriters group because it's a really good line of questions. Actually, I'm going to just refresh. I think I deleted some. There we go. Deleted some fields that we need. So that's how that piece works. HTML is handy if you want to add some HTML element. This is really kind of more of a development thing, but say the customer wants to style a title in there or put an image in above, or a video even above a form element. That's how you do that. Page, not sure what this does. Oh, interesting. So I think what this does is it allows you to have a next button, so you could click it and it would just take you to the next piece. Let me refresh this again. Paragraph text, we already went through that. Multi-select, that is kind of a bunch of square buttons, just like this. It's multi-select. Oh, actually, maybe it's not. Because that is the checkboxes. Oh, yeah, multi-select does this. Typically, we like to go in here and I like this enhanced user interface. It kind of turns this kind of sloppy look into something really cool. Let me kind of show how this actually looks. So I'm going to add states. So we have a bunch in here. And this allows people to kind of select a bunch of options in there. So I'm going to hit update. Then we go back over here. I'm going to hit refresh. And when you click on this, it kind of gives you this option. So you can kind of go through and add a bunch of different pieces. That's why I like the enhanced version. It just looks a lot nicer. It's kind of easier too for people to add a bunch of different pieces of information. Checkboxes we went through. Hidden, I'm not sure what that does. Let me see what that does. Hidden field. Oh, okay. So I think the way this works is if we need to put something like the date and time or something like that inside of a field, we can do that with this. And they wouldn't see it, but we would. And so you can add a value to it. Like here, you can see the date or something like that. So what'll happen is when this form gets submitted, it actually adds the date and time and all that stuff, or any other field information. I think we could even do something like pull in the last page they looked at, or something like that, which is kind of cool. And then lastly, there's section, which kind of adds a break between different pieces, and you can kind of go through and have different sections. So that's kind of everything. For that, there are advanced fields. Name, date, time, phone. Phone's really handy. We actually use phone right here, and it automatically uses a format. So and it requires that format. Same with address. Website does that. Email does that. File upload is really handy if a client wants to receive images or PDFs or something like that. CAPTCHA. This is the way we protect the site from hackers and malware. It just does a robot check on people. You've probably seen that before. List. I'm not sure what list does. Let me see. Yeah, I have no idea what this does, but I've never needed it. So that probably explains that. And then consent. I'm not sure. That's probably some sort of ability to. Okay, perfect. Yeah, agree to privacy policy, that kind of stuff. And then post fields, you can actually use this form to pull in information, kind of like we're doing with the reviews or testimonials. And then there's pricing fields, of course, too. And I've never used the pricing fields. I've very rarely used the post fields, and that's more of a developer thing. Advanced fields are really handy to just get correct information. The name, for instance, can do first and last and things like that. We used to do this, but it got frustrating because people would just kind of leave one or the other, or So what we've done is just switch to a plain old boring name field. All that extra fun stuff. There's a date field, time field, all that good stuff. So that's pretty much everything for contact forms. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'd be happy to go through and give you some more info. So anyway, have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks, bye.